Welcome back, specimens of the Kelper sector. I'm your host, Rad Warrior. Here on Rad Warrior TV, we're doing another episode of Gear Talk. And we're going to dive back in to the Novation Circuit Tracks. So we're doing a part 2 on maximizing its MIDI capability and how you can use a whole rack, maybe a synth case like mine, to just completely exploit all the capabilities and potentials of your Novation Circuit Tracks. Let's swap the camera over. Let's get into it.
And here we are at the Novation Circuit Tracks for a part 2 tutorial on how to maximize this Groovebox's MIDI potential.
Now, right on the front panel, you've got MIDI 1 and MIDI 2. This can be kind of deceiving because it is MIDI channel 3 and 4. These are all MIDI channels. So technically, this sends MIDI 1, this sends MIDI 2, while this is 3 and 4, allowing you to link up more synths to layer on additional melody. And MIDI out from the circuit tracks into your MIDI through box. Guess I left that part out, but yeah. And then you route to your synths. I have this slot number 1 as my bass, and then this is my internal synth, which is the Retroism Future Pack. I butchered that one. A Force Truly Evil Retro Futurism sample pack. It's synthwave samples, man. All the old school Junos and Prophets and Oberheims. And on my side here, I've got MIDI 1, technically MIDI 3, going over to my Behringer Pro 1. And then MIDI 2 is actually MIDI 4 going over to the Roland JU06. MIDI 1, yeah, like I said, it's for bass, so that's getting, that triggers the Model D, because that's got the 3 oscillator analog fat thickness to it that I need in my mix. And then also, Synth 1 also goes over to the Volk FM to add that DX7 clank tone. And I layer that on the bass stack. So yep, 3 basses, internal synths, the Pro 1 and Roland JU06. And my JD08, if you see in the stack in the first segment of the video, that is my lead synth, so that gets all of the nice little 80s, 90s bells. And then you can kind of see the FM GDP over here. That's my fills, and then I also have a beat step, or beat step. It is a Volca Beats that also plays additional kind of more 808 style drums in the tracks. So, now that I've rambled on about that, let's also not forget how you're routing everything. I am going to precariously turn the camera over, and if you can see, I have everything routed into a small 8-channel mixer in that box. That is proprietary to this setup, so that way we can route into its inputs 1 and 2 over on back, and then you take some nice gold tip Boss cables and run that to your interface or DI box for live stage. Boom, you've got a whole live setup and studio setup right out of the... It's pretty sweet. I love it. And there we go. I think I can live with that camera angle. I hope you guys can. So, what is this all? Oh, yes, and we've got it routed in like that. Before I start jamming, before I get into it, let's go over here. You have your effects. I've went over that. This is all reverbs, and then down here is delays. So, if I didn't explain that in the first one, yep. Now you know, kids. So, reverbs, delays, and once you press this button again, this sends you to the sidechain compression option. First row. This is your first row with this arrow here. Yes, that arrow. Purple and gray. That's your internals. That's synth 1, synth 2. It doesn't affect the midis that are coming through over here. Oh, wrong button. Press down, and this one does. This is taking off all compression. This is maximizing all compression to where it's, I don't even know if it's usable, but if you need that much of a squashed is not a word, squashed mix, there we go. Still learning how to speak English, just, California doing me dirty. Very uncultured over here. Anyhow, let's get back into it and show you what that sounds like. So now that you know that we've got all of these, let's just show you what's going on with our kick and bass. Kill that rolling. help the way I have these notes. Now that's a big Daft Punk subby woof woof. So let's add in another melody to give you a better definition of that. This is the Roland JU06. Alright, that's getting old on my ears already. Bring in the Pro 1. Alright, I'm going to bring that back a little bit. And there you have it. There's my little example of how to utilize the internal compressor inside of the Novation Circuit Tracks. You can get it real subby. I mean, listen. That's very dead mouse. You know, if you're doing dubstep, you might really need that. Or certain branches of EDM, even synthwave, people want that much compression. So, hey, Circuit Tracks has got it. It's got it inside. So, and not to mention all of the different options. They got 3 different melodies. I layer them all together, and it just sounds like clown work. But it's a cool cacophony, I think. So, yeah, with that, I suppose I should just swap the camera around and end the video with the jam, so that way I treat you to something besides just rambling nonsense. Hopefully it's slightly educational. But I think with that being said, we're wrapping this up at just under 8 minutes, so that's a good time. And until then, drop a comment what you thought on this video and what else you'd like to see next on the channel. What other gear reviews you'd like to see from my synths that I haven't done yet. So drop it in the comments. New EP coming soon. Don't forget to buy a t-shirt. Support everything that I do that's just nonsensical here in the chaotic wasteland of outer cyberspace and, as we know, in the Kelper system. With that being said, I will see you next time.